This is a public service announcement of fetal alcohol syndrome, or FAS, brought to you by me, Richard Liberty. My textbook, Biological Psychology by James W. Collette, defines fetal alcohol syndrome as a condition resulting from prenatal exposure to alcohol and having indications of hyperactivity, impulsiveness, decreased alertness, motor problems, heart defects, and facial abnormalities. I will go over what happens in a fetus's brain development when a mother consumes alcohol later on in this public service announcement. According to the article, Estimation of National, Regional, and Global Prevalence of Alcohol Use During Pregnancy and Fetal Alcohol Syndrome, a systematic review and meta-analysis, Svetlana Popova and etc. concluded that the 5 countries that have the most cases of fetal alcohol syndrome per 10,000 people in 2012 were Belarus, Italy, Ireland, Croatia, and South Africa. Svetlana Popova and etc. also concluded the 5 countries with the lowest cases per 10,000 people in 2012 of fetal alcohol syndrome were Oman, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Kuwait. Now, a lot of people don't know where Belarus is. My cursor right here is on Belarus. It's right next to Poland. It's in between Poland and Russia right here. A lot of people don't know where Croatia is. Here's a zoomed in picture of the bottom half of Italy. It is right across the Adriatic Sea. Croatia right here where my cursor is. The countries in dark blue, almost purplish color, have a purplish tint to them, are the countries that have the highest cases of fetal alcohol syndrome: United Kingdom, Ireland, Italy, Russia, other countries in Europe. As you can tell, the United States is a turquoise color. I believe this is due to a large part of a lot of people don't raise awareness. A lot of people aren't informed really about what happens to a fetus's brain whenever a mother consumes alcohol. So what can we do to prevent fetal alcohol syndrome? The very first step to preventing anything really, but to preventing fetal alcohol syndrome, is to be informed. Have as much information as you possibly can about fetal alcohol syndrome. That way you know what happens to cause this syndrome and how to prevent it, the things not to do. 5 weeks after conception, a baby fetus's brain begins developing. When a pregnant woman drinks alcohol, the alcohol suppresses the release of glutamate. Glutamate is an excitatory neurotransmitter in a neuron. And instead of releasing glutamate, it releases GABA. GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter inside a neuron. Now, when a neuron is formed, it's formed with, I guess you could say, a suicide safety mechanism. As far as, like, if it's not getting the right things that it needs, it'll kill itself. So when alcohol suppresses the excitatory neurotransmitter that a neuron needs, it goes through a process called apoptosis. Apoptosis is essentially a neuron killing itself because it's not getting the excitatory potential, if you will, from neurotransmitters. It's getting the GABA transmitters instead of the certain accurate amount of glutamate transmitters that it needs. So it kills itself. And since the neurons are killing themselves, the baby fetus brain is not developing properly. It's not getting the appropriate amount of neurons it needs. So, what not to do while being pregnant and how to avoid fetal alcohol syndrome in your child. Don't smoke. A mother breathes for a baby fetus until the 9th week after conception. So whatever the mother breathes in, the baby fetus also breathes in. Smoking cigarettes while being pregnant also brings in attention deficit disorders and other attention disorders as well. Another thing not to do, don't drink. A fetus gets its nutrients from its mother's bloodstream. When a mother consumes alcohol, the alcohol goes directly into the bloodstream, poisoning the fetus. The poison bloodstream from the mother is then directed towards the growing fetus, affecting whichever part of the body that is being grown. So do not drink. Drinking is bad when you're pregnant. Also, don't be stressed. A fetus is highly vulnerable to life outside the womb. If the mother's heart rate goes up, the baby fetus's heart rate also goes up. It mimics everything pretty much that the mother does. So if the mother's stressed, the baby fetus will be stressed. Another thing about being informed is what to do while being pregnant. One of the things, really one of the most important things that a mother can do, is consume prenatal vitamins. A baby fetus is constantly growing. A mother must consume at least 400 micrograms of vitamin B in a day in order to produce a healthy fetus. Vitamin B prevents diseases from happening. Also, it helps in tissue development and DNA. Another thing that you can do when being pregnant is maintain a healthy diet. Omega-3 fatty acids help in brain development in a mother's third trimester. It is important for a mother to maintain a diet high in omega-3 fatty acids. Foods high in omega-3 fatty acids are chia seeds, fish oil, walnuts, and spinach or green leafy foods. Another thing that you can do to prevent fetal alcohol syndrome, meditate. Stay relaxed. Like I said in the slide before, a baby fetus is highly vulnerable to the outside world. Essentially, whatever the mother is feeling, the baby fetus feels it too. So it is very important for a mother to be in a relaxed state. Another thing that you can do to prevent fetal alcohol syndrome is spread the word. Share as much information on Facebook, Instagram, and you can also make a screencast or another video and post it to YouTube, raising awareness for fetal alcohol syndrome. Or you can also do a public service announcement such as this one. Another thing that you can do to prevent fetal alcohol syndrome is save the date. September 9th is Fetal Alcohol Syndrome Awareness Day. This is the day that communities come together, people come together, and they raise awareness for people that have fetal alcohol syndrome and ways to prevent fetal alcohol syndrome from happening. September 9th. And a good way for you to remember this date is Adam Sandler was born on September 9th. Hugh Grant was born on September 9th. Michael Bublé was born on September 9th. So whenever you see Adam Sandler, don't think that he has fetal alcohol syndrome, but you can remember that he was born on September 9th, and it's Fetal Alcohol Syndrome Awareness Day. The last thing that you can do to prevent fetal alcohol syndrome is contribute. You can contribute by donating. There's a couple of websites here for you to go and raise funds and donate as much as you feel like donating to help either people with fetal alcohol syndrome or help with preventing fetal alcohol syndrome to occur in the future. Also, getting your community involved. Getting your community involved helps spread information of fetal alcohol syndrome as well as raise funds for people that have fetal alcohol syndrome or raise funds in preventing fetal alcohol syndrome. Getting the community involved is a very important step to preventing this from happening. Watching out for each other, it's a good thing to have to prevent this. So in conclusion, neurons kill themselves, essentially, when a mother drinks alcohol and this makes the baby fetus's brain not develop properly. The 3 things that you don't do while being pregnant and to prevent fetal alcohol syndrome from happening is smoking, drinking alcohol, and being stressed. Stay away from those things. The 3 things that you can do to help prevent fetal alcohol syndrome: eat your prenatal vitamins, consume a diet high in omega-3 fatty acids, and relax as much as you possibly can. Again, like I said, there is a big problem about raising awareness for fetal alcohol syndrome in America. And as a father, as a parent, talking to other parents, it's definitely difficult to see that because of one bad decision, a child is hurt, essentially for the rest of their lives, just because of that one bad decision that they can't even control. They can't even decide for themselves. So just please be aware of that. September 9th, Fetal Alcohol Syndrome Awareness Day. Thank you for listening to my public service announcement.